Hey everybody, Andrew here from Pacific Coast Auto, taking a look at the results of last week's auction picks. Up first, we've got the orange Supra with the body kit and decals. This one went for less than half of what Derek guessed on it, and I'm not sure why. It sold for just $8,720. Doesn't seem like a 93 Supra should go quite that cheaply. Weirdly enough, when I went to look up the price for this one, the bid number had changed. When Derek made the video last week, it was 4072. But I looked that up again, and it was a Prius or something like that. I had to search for the car specifically and found the lot number was changed to 30784. I don't know if maybe that threw some people off and they thought the car was delisted so it didn't get enough bids, but still the reserve on it had to be low for the car to actually sell, so somebody got a pretty good deal, even with the stickers. The Nissan Silvia Variette had almost reached Derek's guess, but it went unsold at $6,500. The Itasha decorated Junos Roadster did sell, but it went for a little more than Derek thought. Someone got that one for $540. The Nissan Note Nismo was another one that had that weird removed mark on it. It got bid up to $11,770, but was unsold and it said it was removed. We're not sure exactly what this means. Odds are the dealer selling the car got an offer at their lot or dealership and decided to pull it from auction after bidding had started. I guess they're allowed to do that because otherwise we wouldn't have that removed status, but still seems weird. The Honda Odyssey Absolute did sell and it went for $8230. The Sunny Truck also sold and went for well under Derek's guess. Somebody picked that one up for just $2,040. And the Suzuki Jimny Wide also went for well under Derek's guess by almost $2,000. That one sold for $3350. The Toyota Volts was bid up to exactly double Derek's guess, but was still unsold at $1420. There wasn't much interest in the Nissan Adwagon Max. That one was unsold and only got bid up to $520. And the old four-door Nissan Skyline GT was also unsold. It got bid up to $19,840, but that wasn't enough for the seller to let it go. That's going to do it for last week's picks. Now here's Derek with this week's.
Hey guys, it's Derek, and pardon me this time, I have a terrible cold and a sore throat right now. And so I have holes in my mouth that I'm eating while I'm recording this. And I know that's not so professional, but I have a sore throat and I gotta talk for the next half an hour, and so I'm not taking any chances. Put the holes in my mouth now, and then I don't have to worry about it for the next couple of days, hopefully. But it does feel like it's on fire, and like I took the little bits of a broken transmission and I'm gargling them right now. Not a lot of fun. But anyways, let's jump into the picks here. And one thing to notice, to mention here, big cursor. A lot of people sent in picks that were for today, and the cars come up today, and then we don't pick those ones. And it says at the beginning, please don't pick USS picks. That's one of the things, because USS doesn't let us do this with their cars, USS auctions. And then also they need to be from the next day or later, because you know it's not a lot of fun having me guess the prices on cars that have already gone through auctions. And a lot of people, you know, we put up also this post one day before we shoot the video, so some people pick also cars that have already gone through auction yesterday. So check the date, and let me show you how you can do this. So this is where you check your cars. I'm looking for a Nissan 180SX, and then go to the auctions one down here, and then we shoot this video on a Wednesday, and so you need to only be picking Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then if you pick the cars like this, you can also go ahead and deselect the USS ones, like USS Tokyo we can take off of there, USS Osaka, Nagoya, Hokuriku. Look, this auction has 124 cars at it. USS Tokyo here has almost 10,000, and they'll have more by tomorrow. So you can go and deselect all the USS ones, and then you can go search down here, and then it will show you. Unfortunately, there are 0 180SXs that fit that criteria, but anyways, you get the picture. And so let's jump into the first one here. And so here's our thumbnail picture. It is a Nissan S15 Silvia with some pretty outrageous looking aero on it. Sexy shifter. Pink is the perfect color for the phallic shifter in my opinion. Looks like some gauges put into the dashboard here, an offset steering wheel, aftermarket seats. It's the type of car that's going to be very appealing to the person that likes this kind of car. I like the S15s. I really like macho looking S15s with wide body on it, especially when they have a hood that gets raised up. There's one, I don't know who makes it, but there's one that the hood is raised up and it makes it look much more aggressive with that. I don't, however, like the fitment of the wheels and the tires on this one because I think you have too much stretch on there and they're placed too far out in order to be a reasonable running condition car. I just think that that's too much for my tastes, but to each their own, whatever. So this one's at auction coming up on Saturday, HAA Kobe. The auction sheet for this one, and I almost said no to doing this one in the video simply because the auction sheet has so many marks on it, and I was like thinking about my voice and how it's going to be hurting talking, and then looking at this and I was shuddering and then thought no, but then the looks of it, you know, this type of car is going to attract attention on the thumbnail, and that means more people clicking the videos, which means more people buying cars, which means happier Derek. And so there's a compromise there. Here's something to take a look at. They opened up the headlight and they put in a little decal inside there between the lens and the actual light itself. That's kind of cool. And on one of these pictures, I don't know where it is, this one, you can see there's a crack in the fender that has been repaired with the zip ties. Kind of funny there. Okay, so condition's not that great. It's got the 6-speed manual. It's the turbocharged SR20 engine, 187,444 kilometers, octane R modified. Exterior is B minus and interior is B. I find that a little bit hard to believe when you have a crack in the fender there and cracks here. It is a little bit of a style thing, you know, having authentic JDM drift scars and stickers. To some people that's cool, so whatever. But look, C2, that's large corrosion on the back, and these cracks and paint peeling. No, I think a B minus is a little bit too liberal or a little bit too positive for this car. I would say at least a C, if not maybe lower. Okay, so it's an original red car. Mileage is high, a lot of modifications, D-Max aero parts on, adjustable suspension, DEFI gauges, aftermarket hood, front mount intercooler LSD, which is limited slip differential. In case you don't know that, aftermarket tail lamps are cracked. Love the gray trunk. I would love it if that was just the metal with clear coat on top of it. I think that would be a really unique thing to do. Although most people who do that would do that to the hood and not to the trunk, but that might be the case. Or it might just be a silver trunk that somebody put on there. Okay, wide body front, oh no, front left and right Recaro seats. Rear trunk has had the interior liner pieces taken out. So basically like a race car, lightweight, take everything out that you don't need, except for the zebra print mats. Those are obviously very important. Okay, a lot of other things. In terms of damage, lots of accident damage by the looks of it. And then paint fade, and then wrapping. So I guess that's a vinyl wrap on the back there. Aftermarket steering wheel, shift knob. The tires stick out past the fenders, which is a no-no for Japanese regulations. You won't be able to get insurance on the car if that's the case. You have to switch them back to regular tires and then go back to your crazy ones. Aftermarket wheels, air filter, boost controller, and yeah, body's pretty weak. Cracked fender, paint peeling, cracked bumper. I already kind of went over that. Starting price 280,000 yen. I could probably see this one selling for in the range of, well, I don't do ranges on this video. Unfortunately, I have to pick just a one number so that I can see exactly how wrong that I can be. And I think that 750,000 yen is going to be what this one sells for. And I think that people are going to be paying for the style over the condition on this one for sure. And so that one was sent in by Brandon Decker. So thank you for sending that one in. Usually what I do is try to make sure that I only have a certain number of picks from a certain person. But this time I didn't do that. And I have a number of them from Brandon. And so Brandon, you get the prize of the coolness this week. The next one was a Mark II, but that one was up for tomorrow, or for today, and so we can't actually share that. And so on to our next one here. This is quite a rare sight to see at a Japanese auction because there weren't that many of these cars sold. So this is a GT4 version of the Cayman. It's basically like a GT3 911 on the Cayman's chassis. And so you have the most powerful version of the engine. In fact, it's a 911's engine that's in here. It's the last time that they had 6 cylinders before they went over to the 4-cylinder turbos. And then this one has 385 horsepower, and then lightweight everything, race-tuned suspension, and all the goodies that make the GT3 such a good car, but in the Cayman. And a lot of people are saying that they like the Cayman now kind of more than the 911 because the mid-engine is a layout that's, I think, easier to make it work than the 911's rear engine. Of course, there's benefits of both of them, but nobody else makes rear engine cars, and there's a reason for that. Porsche is really good at making it work, but that's exactly what it is they're taking a design that doesn't really work and then finding a way to make it work. I think that the Cayman's a wonderful car, and I think it's really cool looking. Okay, so starting price, almost $100,000 there. Okay, so it's a 2004 Porsche, which is funny because these came out in 2005 officially, and so this one would have been sold in 2004 as a 2005 model year. Cayman GT4, auction rate 4.5, interior B, mileage is just 4,618 kilometers. For this type of car, that might be a little bit high, considering it's not like the cars in 2004. It's not that old, and this type of car, especially a track-focused car, not a good chance that people are driving these very much on the road. You know, if they're going to drive it on the road or are expecting to drive it on the road, they'll get the more comfortable version of it more likely than not. The people who buy this one are more likely to be spending it on the track. Driver's seat is ripped. That's a weird one. I don't know anything about these, the seats or the interior of these and how well they handle wear. Most of the cars we sell are a little bit older. There are a lot of good cars like this. In Japan, they love their high performance and specialty cars more than almost any other country out there. And so if you are looking for specialty cars, Japan's a huge market for them. Okay, so sports chrono package, that actually comes part of the GT4. Alcantara steering wheel. Ooh, lucky. And red seat belts. I'm glad that they told me about that. Condition looks to be pretty good. The body has just one minor scratch on it there. It's going to be super clean. Probably has been garage kept almost every single day. Maybe never even driven on the rain. And then price for this one. See, new they sell for about $100,000 US. This starting price is about $80,000 US dollars. In terms of yen, I think we'll probably see it sell for about 11 million, somewhere in there. I'll stick with 11 million, and we'll see what happens with this one. I don't really know the market of them that well, and so this is just a bit of a shot in the dark for this one. Okay, and that one was Brandon Decker as well. Brandon has one more later, but it's shared with someone else, so we're going to go on to the next person, Jose Oval. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I'm sorry, Jose. And you sent in this one here. It's from LAA Kansai. They haven't got with the 1990s yet, and they still have less than 640 by 480 pictures, so sorry about that. And what we have here is the Nismo edition of the Fairlady 370Z. And Z is how they pronounce it here in Japan, and so if you're one of those guys saying, he doesn't know how to pronounce Z, it's called Z, man. You know, people from all other countries pronounce words differently, and I don't have a problem with that, but don't tell me I'm mispronouncing something when I'm calling it the Japanese way of saying it. Okay, so it's a 2016 Fairlady Nismo. I've driven the 370Z and was really disappointed by it. I mean, there are a lot of things I liked about it, but overall it didn't feel like a car that made me smile when I drove it. It just felt like a car that was created by a computer, and it didn't have any soul in it. And people say the same thing about the GTR, like the R35. I've never driven one, so I can't tell for certain, but I think I would like the GTR more than this car, simply because it's just a faster, better handling car, and has a little bit more cachet, being the more expensive vehicle. And I kind of like the ugly looks of the R35. I think it's cool. It's kind of Transformer-like. Anyway, this is an R-grade interior A. I'm not sure of the rarity of the Nismo version of this car, how many of them were made. I kind of have a feeling like it's somewhere in like the 2,000 units range, but I don't know for sure. 3,277 kilometers seems to be pretty low, even for a limited edition type of car. Has a couple of modifications, Olin suspension, Amuse titanium exhaust, that's pretty cool, and it looks pretty nice too. It's kind of funny to get the Nismo version of the car and then immediately replace all the Nismo parts and then drive the car only 3,277 kilometers. Kind of a weird thing, but whatever. It means the car is up on the used market now, and it's going to be interesting to somebody. The body looks to be pretty good other than the replaced panels, and then the headlight. The headlights have been modified to be black on the inside. Okay. Underside has some surface rust. A little bit weird for a car that's new, but surface rust isn't something to be worried about yet. Left front inner panel deformation due to the accident, and then core support's been replaced. I'm not going to be able to guess the price of this one very well. It starts at 3.3 million. 3.8 is going to be my guess. I guess that seems a little bit low. No, let's go 4.2. Okay, so my guess on this one is going to be 4.2. And on to the next one. Just swallowing all my saliva. The Halls. Wow, it's bringing the saliva. It's like a party in my mouth at the moment. Next one's from Jose Oval again. Once again, sorry for mispronouncing the name. We got a little bit of a set here. The next two picks, this one and the next one, kind of fit into the same category. And so I wanted to talk about this because this is, a lot of people say, what kind of nice performance 5-speed turbo Japanese JDM car can I get for a really low price? And this is the go-to car, either in wagon or sedan version. They sell for literally a third the price that the Impreza does. They have a lot of the performance, they have a lot of space, and you can get them in a really cool station wagon. Twin turbo, 2-liter, 260 to 280 horsepower. This one's a 5-speed. And the 5 speeds are reasonably priced. It's pretty hard to get any 5-speed JDM car for under $4,000 these days. And these ones you can get for like $1,000 or so. Like every day you can get them. And so they're a recommended car. I've owned one myself and I really liked it. And so highly recommended. So it's a 2001 Legacy GTB E-Tune. The GTB version is the 280 horsepower version. It has Bilstein suspension on it. And then the E-Tune is just the top trim level for that. And it has the better interior pieces, like door cards, seats are better, and has a subwoofer in the back and stuff like that. Okay, original white, 148,842 kilometers. The seller didn't say anything about it. Body looks to be reasonable. You'll see all these hash marks here. Subarus tend to dent faster than other cars. They don't. It's funny about them. They don't rust quickly, which is what you typically find with cheap metal from manufacturers. But they do dent, which means that the metal is thinner. And thin metal usually rusts faster, but it doesn't with Subarus. It's kind of weird that way. And so it's a trade-off. They don't really suffer from that much rust compared to other cars, especially Nissan and Mitsubishi. But they do suffer from dents in the side fairly easily, so watch out for that. Steering wheel peeling, seat wear, aftermarket exhaust, front inner panel is dented from the accident, and front cross member has been replaced, and the core supports has been replaced. Front bumper has some pretty big scratches, and this is the late Koki version, or late model version of the original front lip on it, and so that's all stock. Just the headlight pieces aren't stock. And what's this? Somebody put something on there? I don't know. Too small of pictures. LAA Kansai. Get with the times, man. Lots of extra gauges on here. Oh, and I haven't been reading what people said about the cars. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's okay. Not many people said anything. The last one, Brandon, said yellow Porsche. It looks like a banana. Okay. This person, Jose, said... this is his theme that he's going to be putting onto the Facebook. Performance wagons, and then there was this one, and then another one that he put in. This one was also put on by Brandon Decker, and he says a Legacy with a lot of gauges, but I think it needs a few more. So I guess we got the 4 Defi gauges there. This one here looks like it could be a boost controller or something of the like, and then this one looks like some sort of a clock-ish thing. I don't know. But yeah, this Legacy, considering the condition, this is pretty high mileage for this type of car. And so I'm going to guess on this one 100,000 yen, which is less than $1,000. So 100,000 yen on that one. I think it's completely possible for that to happen. Okay, on to the next one, and this one fits into the same category. This is a Mitsubishi Legnum, and it's very, very similar to the Legacy in terms of the market position. And so this one also has 280 horsepower and has four-wheel drive. So both cars, it's a station wagon with four-wheel drive, and then the maximum horsepower that you can get away with in a Japanese car back then. This one instead has a 2.5 liter V6 engine with twin turbo. Very cool, and I've sold a few of these. They're not that popular, but I've sold a few, and the people who have bought them have been very happy with them, and they've been very reliable. And so the name of this one is a Mitsubishi Legnum, which is basically the station wagon version of the Galant. Oh, look at this, 252, 849 kilometers. So if anyone's wondering about the reliability of these cars, at least one of them made it to 250. And it's called the Legnum VR4 Type S. It has the AYC system from the Lancer Evolution. And so that one is the, sends different, it's torque vectoring basically, a rudimentary version of it to the wheels. That's only, the torque vectoring I believe is only available in the automatic? I don't know. Google needs to be your buddy there and figure that one out for you. This one's a 5-speed manual, so once again, 280 horsepower, 5-speed manual, station wagon, unassuming people next to you at a stoplight and saying, what the heck just happened? And turbocharged, twin turbo, turbo cars are generally easier to get more power out of than non-turbos, and so you could get it to go faster if you really need it to. I would worry about the transmission though. I don't know how strong that is. It might be the same one in the Lancer Evolution, but it might not. I don't know. Auction grade 3.5, interior C. Original 17-inch wheels, kind of funny there. Comes with owner's manual, warranty papers. Condition doesn't look too bad. Everything looks to be good here except for underside has surface rust and corrosion, and there's a boost controller added to it, and then A4 scratches here, and A4 scratches here, and A4 scratches here. So bumper, lip, and side skirt, they're not that visible. They tend to be underneath where you can't see them very much, but roof A4 is a pretty big problem in my opinion. I think the interior is pretty modern. This is the same panel as the Lancer Evolution. Too bad they didn't call this Legnum Evolution. I think it would have been more popular. And later on they did make an Evolution wagon, and somebody picked one this week, but I didn't pick it because I'd spoken about it in a previous video. Okay, so with a high mileage and the body that could use a little bit of work, it's going to sell for a very low amount. I'm going to guess 60,000 yen for this one. Yeah, starting price 0, 60,000 yen. Okay, and on to the next one. That one was, by the way, sent in by Perry Chappell, and he says, I love the look of these for some reason. They just look menacing on the road. This VR4 model has the guts to back it up. Okay, the next one, Zachary Konopa sent in this Monte Carlo. Here we have it, and he says Monte Carlo with drag tires on it. And then Sean William Bellamy says, looks like someone tried to make a cheap version of the Buick Grand National from Fast 4. And it does look like it's been modified to look like the Grand National, doesn't it? Okay. And so it's an American car, so you guys probably know that I don't know what I'm talking about. So I can either make up stuff that everyone's going to call me out on, or I can just admit to being an idiot when it comes to American cars. So it's a 1990 Chevrolet Monte Carlo, auction grade R, interior C, exterior C, 13,171 miles, not kilometers. So it's likely an imported car, but there's a star next to that because it's a 5-digit odometer. Really? Really, a 5-digit odometer in 1990? Oh, man. Okay, so it was an original American car, I believe, because it's in miles, and then the VIN number here is the full 17-digit one, not a Japanese version. Here it has it's been registered in Japan with a specialty VIN, so this is the official VIN in Japan, and originally registered in Tokyo. Okay, still has current registration on it, and condition, let's see, rust on the roof, blah, steering wheel wear, lowered, blah, 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 blah. I mean, there's accident damage on it, and they mention about that. Model name is unknown for it. A couple of other things here, there, nothing really that major. Body looks to be decent other than the rust on the roof. It's only a small spot of it. The car looks really cool. I think it's a cool looking car. It has a 5-liter engine in it and an automatic transmission. Price of this, I'm just going to be embarrassing myself, but I'll say 320,000 yen. And I kind of wish that I was the person that was reading off the prices the next week, so at least I can hedge a little bit and say, oh, I got this one wrong. Pfft, what an idiot, or something like that. But nope, I don't even get that much. So please stay with me, even if I can't guess the prices of these cars very well. Next one here from Perry Chappell, and he says, I wouldn't call this the prettiest car out there. And then replied to by Bill Courtney, nobody does ugly like Subaru does. And this one is another 2-part series. This one and the next car kind of fit into the same category. So, but the next car is actually up today. I just left it in because they're kind of fun to talk about back to back. So it's a 2004, is that right? Did I get that right? Yeah, 2004 Subaru R2. This is a 4-wheel drive model. It's a Kei Car 660cc automatic transmission, but you can get these in manual. It's an auction grade 3, interior C, exterior C. Has no reserve price on it. Bad corrosion here and here. And rear floor and end panel corrosion, C2. S2 on the underside, front panel C2. So it looks like it's spent a lot of time rusting away, which is a little bit sad for a car that is so trying hard to not be ugly but can't help it. It's kind of like somebody who's really, really, how can I say this? Maybe I should just stop digging myself a hole. Okay, so let's not talk about that. We'll change the subject, but it is a dumb looking car. It has the Subaru grill. Remember when they wanted to make this their thing? That's funny. Okay, and price for it, I couldn't see anybody grabbing this one up for more than 10,000 yen. So that's going to be my guess on this one. Okay, and on to the next one. And what do we have? We have a Subaru R2. And so that's cool. So that past car and this car here, they're the same. Just one is old and one is really, really ugly. Okay, so this is back when Kei cars had to be 360cc. I guess it's similar to the Subaru 360. I don't really know exactly how different it would be. It has a rear engine, 350cc engine, auction grade R, interior C, exterior C, 5-digit odometer, so mileage is not known. Underside has corrosion, but this car has significantly less corrosion than the last one. The door on the left side is misaligned, it says. Paint cracks on this door, paint cracks, paint cracks, paint cracks. When you see a paint cracks on an old car, what that usually means is the car has had rust repair done to it with body filler. And then body filler only really lasts, like, depending on how thick it is, like 2 to 10 years or so, and then eventually it just starts to crack because it just can't handle it anymore. That's what's probably happened here. So it's probably rust repair that is cracking up, which is a bad sign for an old car because it's harder to redo that than it is to just fix the rust to begin with. But a car like this, it won't come up for auction very often. It's probably something that you're going to want to jump on if you want something quirky and unique. It's probably going to run just fine. Parts for it are going to be impossible to find, and so drive it until it dies and then keep it in your garage for years. I don't know. Or swap the engine out for something modern. That would be fun. You might have to swap some of the suspension and stuff out too. I don't know how easy it would be to find those parts. Fender mirrors. It's really cool looking. And having no grille at all in the front. Kind of unique. Grills on the back here. And 4-seater. It's cool. I like it. You'll probably see this go for somewhere in the range of about 300,000 yen. It would normally be more than that, but like classic cars are usually more than that, but old Subarus like this, just so hard to find the parts, and they just don't have the same following as a lot of other car companies have from their 1960s, 1970s cars. Okay, so that one there, that one was sent in by Bill Courtney, and he says this is from Louis Sandoval. Or Louis Sandoval. Okay, and then Bill Courtney says, it's a 10-minute car. And then Louis, or Louis, says, a 10-minute car, and admittedly, I didn't understand what he was talking about either. And Bill Courtney says, as opposed to the Fast and Furious 10-second car with a little smiley emoji. Okay, so on to the next one here. This one was sent in by Bill Courtney, and he says, speaking of accessories, this one kind of reminds me of a church full of nuns. Now, I think a bus like this is kind of a boring pick to put on there, because of course Japan has buses that you can buy from auction. The reason why I picked it is because that comment is so funny when you look at this. And what I want to do is take a Jiffy marker or Sharpie and then draw a little face on all of these seat rests, and then pretend it's like a bus full of nuns. That idea just came to mind, and I thought it was funny, and so that's why I included this one. And so I don't want to spend too much time talking about this. It's a Mitsubishi Fuso chassis, and then the bus is called the Rosa Bus, 29-seater. It's a 3.9 liter diesel engine, 5-speed manual, high roof version, automatic door, and what does this say? Reverse monitor Clarion. That's weird. It says tachograph meter car, but no key. I don't know what a tachograph is. If somebody knows, please let me know. This stuff looks cool. If any of this is called tachograph, I want to have it. Tacos. Japan doesn't have a lot of Mexican food. You can't get it very easily here. It's unfortunate. Okay, underside corrosion. Tire house has a corrosion hole on it, and a seat, one of them is missing. But I guess if it's 29 seats, then one missing seat's probably not that big of a deal. And corrosion hole here, and corrosion, but otherwise clean body. And price, ooh, $236, 345 kilometers. Might see this go, you see a bus? I've never had a customer say, hey, I want to get a 30-passenger bus. And then I don't, like, in my spare time go, I wonder how much buses cost in Japan. And so I'm completely ill-prepared to give a guess on the price of this one. Maybe 580,000 yen will be my guess on that. And the last one, and I don't know, I think most of the people who watch these videos, they like mostly the JDM cars, because, you know, if you see a thumbnail that says Japan auction, then it's usually not like Euro car lovers that are going to want to click on that. But I'm a big fan of Euro cars, and I really like the E46 3 Series, like really like it. And this was one of the cars that I was considering buying before we had our third kid. And it ended up I got the Legacy. And I only got the Legacy because somebody bought that and somebody was a douchebag and didn't pay for their car. So I ended up inheriting it or using it for myself for a while. This is what I really wanted because rear-wheel drive station wagon. You can get it with the 3-liter inline 6-cylinder, which is a lovely engine. It's really cool looking. This one is an M Sports version, and so you get the M Sports wheels on it, and then the front bumper is different, and then you get like an M here on the steering wheel, and various other things. And then here in Japan, you can only get this with an automatic transmission, which really bites, but because the 3-liter inline 6-cylinder is so much fun with a manual transmission, and then an automatic transmission kind of ruins it. This one doesn't have the 3-liter, it has a 2-liter inline 6, which is a little bit weird by today's standards. Most 2-liters are 4-cylinders. But it's a 2-liter inline 6 with automatic, but you can shift yourself if you really must. I think that this is a good engine. I wouldn't call it a great engine. It's just a good BMW inline 6. I love how they're really into the inline 6-cylinder engines because people just don't make those so much anymore. Inline 6 is a kind of a long, heavy, difficult to work with engine because it doesn't fit into engine bays very easily, and it doesn't fit into like a V6 or even a V8 is easier to put into a car and make it work as a complete package than an inline 6. But the inline 6 has a very unique feel to it when you drive it, and I love cars from the 80s, especially Toyota and Nissan were really into inline 6s too. Nowadays, you'd be hard-pressed to find. Do they have any? I think BMW is the only company that comes to mind when it comes to inline 6. Weird. Okay, so 18-inch wheels. These are the stock wheels for the M Sport package. previously called the M Technic or M Technique. I don't know how to pronounce it. Right front pillar trim is saggy, wheels scratch, various scratches and dents, 85,568 kilometers. And the reason why I wanted to get one of these is because they're really good value for money, and they're just good-looking cars. And if you drive a BMW and you have that BMW key in your hand and you drop that on the table, then everyone's like, wow, you've made it, even if you're buying a really cheap car, which is what this is. You know, you don't have to spend very much on this to get a very good condition BMW. You can see the body's perfect, almost perfect interior, and then you can buy these. Probably this one will go for 180, maybe less. And so I think great value for money for these. And that is the end. And that one was that one was from Matt Johnson. And I think it's a sickness. I can't, my mind's not thinking so clearly today, and so hopefully this one didn't cause you to have an aneurysm in your head from annoyance, but hopefully by next week I'm feeling better, and we'll see you all then. So check us out on Facebook, all that kind of stuff, and talk to you later. Bye-bye.